Welcome back to the ICA show, everybody. Today we have an earlier show and a special show. For the first time ever, we will be live streaming a game. In this game, we have our very own host, Alan Salnikov, and he's playing against one of the brightest young stars of ICA, Benjamin Nunes. This is going to be an exciting game. I'm Thomas Holder. I'll be your main commentator today. And I'm joined by a group of people in ICA right now, present at the Quads tournament. You guys want to say hi?
Hi.
So yeah, this is going to be a really fun show. We're going to have live analysis of the game. And let's hope it's an interesting and exciting battle.
Yeah, let's hope. Right now I have half a point. Everyone else in my section has 1 point. Then because the third round of a quads, we need to do a color draw. Because I have the lowest amount of points in the color draw, I'm going to be choosing colors. So Ryan, if you will.
Yes.
Not you, Ryan. I throw.
All right. I will pick this hand, which means I'm white.
Alan's right.
I'm white.
Okay.
And Ben and I are now going to the tournament room. And Thomas, you can start the commentary.
All right, let's begin. All right, so we have the colors drawn now. We know that Alan will be playing with white. Ben will be playing with black. These players, both quite strong. They are similarly rated. Alan is currently rated 1341. Ben is currently rated 1368. So we're going to have an interesting game. Hope it'll be fun. And as you can see, here we can see both of the players getting ready. Ben is on our right. Alan is on the left. The game will begin shortly. This game is taking place at the ICA Glen Rock Quads, a tournament held almost every Monday in the ICA Glen Rock location. This is, I believe, Section 2. This is the final round, and we're about to begin. Time control. It's 1 hour for each player. I believe there's a 5-second delay for every move that they make. They shake hands. Benjamin presses the clock, and E4. The first move is on the board. Alan begins with E4. Benjamin goes, D4. D4, D5, C3 by Alan, Knight F6 by Benjamin, and Bishop G5. Okay, so it kind of resembles a Trumpowski opening. Let's see what Benjamin does. E6 here looks interesting. Maybe you can play C5. You can develop the bishop. Okay, he plays Bishop F5. So I'm not completely familiar with this opening, but I do believe it is an interesting one. Alan plays Knight F3. I'm wondering why Alan didn't take on F6. And if I just pull up an analysis board right now, here Alan plays Knight F3, but he just developed his bishop. Why not just take this knight? Benjamin would probably take back with the e-pawn, and then white would probably play Knight F3. He would play E3. Something like this. Black would try and maybe strike with C5, E3, and at least there's this kind of ruined pawn structure. But if we go back to what happened in the game, after Alan plays this move Knight F3, suddenly there's really not much here for him. If Benjamin plays something like E6, Alan really doesn't have much. He just has a London system with his bishop on G5. So far, I think everything is going pretty well for Benjamin. Let's see if there have been any more updates to the game. I believe E6 has been played. Alan played E3. If I can see correctly. And Benjamin played C5. And it's Alan's turn currently. Okay, so a lot of ideas for both sides here. This position kind of reminds me of a London system. So knight d2 is a move to consider. Bishop d3, trying to trade off the bishops. All of these ideas should be kept in the back of the players' minds as they go forward in this game. If we pull up the announced board here. Personally, I think I would just want to develop my bishop d3, or maybe bishop b5 also as well. Could be a move. But of course, there are many moves. Bishop e2, castles. We're getting a very slow kind of game, a very London system sort of game that, it's interesting, but not the most interesting positions in the world. But for sure, both sides have a lot of play. We're going to see what happens. So yeah, let's see what Alan played. I believe Alan has played bishop b5 check. So yeah, this is definitely one of the moves. Probably the best move, actually. Developing a piece with a tempo. He's going to castle next round, probably. Next move. Benjamin plays knight c6. Of course, this is all good stuff. Both players developing their pieces, making it seem very nice. Still in the opening phase of the game, Alan seems to be taking a think. I don't know if that's justified. I mean, here, it just makes sense to castle. White doesn't have a lot of real play here, apart from playing something like castles. Maybe he can try knight e5. But after something like queen c7, doesn't seem very promising. Something like bishop f4, just bishop d6. Not much there. Maybe also at some point you can consider taking on c5. And then something like castles. Play c4 in the future. I'm not sure if this is a great plan, but yeah, I think white should just castle. Not much else really to be done. And Alan has played 95. He's played 95. Okay. Yeah, so of course the threat here is to capture the knight, but a couple moves work here for black. Black can play rook c8, defending the knight, getting that defended. He can play queen c7. Again, with the idea of playing bishop d6, developing quickly to pressure this knight. Playing a6. I actually really like black's position here. Yeah, and if white just castles a6, suddenly pressure is being put on this knight. Maybe bishop d6 here also. But it seems like black should be completely fine. He could also play rook c8. He could play queen c8, but this looks a little bit wrong. Maybe. But okay. A lot of ideas here after 95. All right. Let's go back to the game. See if anything new took place. Rook c8. Okay. So, of course, rook c8, completely normal move. Just defending the knight. Now, Alan probably has to castle here. He could play queen a4. But after something like queen b6 or queen c7, personally, I would probably play queen c7, followed by bishop d6. Black has nothing to worry about. Black is completely fine. And, one thing that Benjamin might be thinking of after queen a4, if Alan does go for that, which seems to be what he's thinking about, after something like queen c7, maybe Alan is worried about this transformation of the pawn structure. In fact, he should not be. He can take back with the g-pawn, attacking the knight. Obviously, if you trade here, I take with the pawn, attacking the bishop. If the bishop goes back, black has a comfortable position. His king side is a little bit open, but at the same time, look at all these pawns he has in the center. All of his pawns fighting to control the center. He's also has a bit more development, something like bishop d6, quickly developing. He can play in the center, play on the open lines, and even putting a king on e7 or on f8, something like this, or even leaving it in the middle, is completely fine. And if you don't trade knights and simply go back, just thinking you've damaged the pawn structure, well, okay, we have something very similar. A6 could be played, forcing you to give up your bishop, and then maybe even taking with the queen, going into this endgame. Something like this. Only black can be better here. Why is that? Only black can be better because black's bishops are just much better. Black has more presence. He can expand on the queen side. This open file is really nice. His king's in the center. Black is better. So I don't think Benjamin should at all be worried about any repercussions of the bishop exchange and should just play queen c7 if queen a4 is played. But we don't even know if queen a4 is going to be played. And if we see Alan, okay, he has played queen a4. So now Benjamin has to bite the bullet and play queen c7. Now, judging by his face, seems pretty indifferent about it. But you know, I would think he knows he has to defend. All right, he has to defend his knight. He doesn't want to give up anything, so he should go queen c7. Just don't even worry about bishop takes knight. Don't worry about bishop f4. Alan is going after this pinned piece a little bit prematurely. Alan has not completed his development. Alan has not castled. And black's position is completely fine. Benjamin here, he has to play queen c7. So let's see what he is going to do. Seems to be thinking. So okay, now that we're kind of out of the opening phases of the game, I'm assuming Benjamin will play queen c7 or queen b6 in short time. But I'd just like to discuss some possible plans for both sides here. So let's say after queen c7, something like just castles, bishop d6, and this, sorry, no, not that, of course. Takes bishop e2. Bishop e2 would be a blunder. Let's say bishop a6. Again, not a great move, bishop a6. Actually, I'm wondering what's the move here? What's the move here? Because black's a lot more active. He should not take after bishop d6. He should go back. But something like this is great for black. I mean, black plays h6. Sorry, maybe not. But black goes knight e4, pressuring the bishop. He's playing h6. He has more development. He has a better position. To be honest, Alan has gotten kind of a bad version of a London out of this, which kind of sucks for Alan. But I guess he's just gonna have to. He's gonna just have to try and play some good moves. Okay, Benjamin does not decide to go queen c7. He decides to go queen b6. Queen b6 is also completely fine. Personally, I probably would have played queen c7. It looks like a stronger move to me, but there's nothing wrong with this. His next moves are a6. And I guess Benjamin's whole idea, he likes the queen here pressuring b2 instead of on c7. Completely understand. Suddenly a6 is coming. Bishop d6. Benjamin's getting development, and not just development. He's getting development targeting Alan's pieces. So he can target Alan's knight on e5. He can force the bishop away from pinning the knight, something like this, and then b2 is a problem. So Alan's position is kind of in dire straits right now. He's undeveloped. This knight is bad. I actually wonder what Alan should do here. Anticipating a6. Maybe just develop a piece. That probably should be the first move we look at, knight d2. Probably should be an okay move. After knight d2, Benjamin would probably play a6. kicking away the bishop. And if you move the bishop back, I take on b2 with my queen. So you probably have to take here and play something like queen b3. And something like this, maybe he's playable. Something like this, maybe is okay for Alan. But I believe Alan has played knight d2. He has developed a piece. Good move by Alan. Good move. He's not letting anything get ahead of him. But after a6, I'm wondering what he's gonna do. He has to take, right? If he moves his bishop back, queen b2, he can pretty much resign. So the only move is to take on c6. After bc, with the pawn under attack, knight b3 is a move, but then c4. The whole position looks kind of suspicious for Alan. He should, I'm assuming, play queen b3 or queen b3. Queen b3 is a move that I would play. And again, black might have some slight advantage. Of course, if black takes, a takes, white is happy here. He targets a weak pawn, and black's pawn structure makes little sense now. But black would probably not exchange queens. And I'm looking at something that's just simple, like queen c7, followed by bishop d6. All these pawns in the center. Very nice. Alan's knight's not great. I like this bishop a lot. I think long term it's not great for Alan. I more and more liking Benjamin's position. This bishop is a sniper. He'll play h6, securing an outpost square on h7. He'll develop his bishop, and the two bishops should reign supreme. This pawn structure with the queens on the board should not matter. So yeah, I firmly believe that Alan has gotten absolutely nothing out of the opening. And, okay, Benjamin did not play a6. Relieved for Alan. He plays bishop e7, which is fine, developing a piece, and preventing Alan from taking his knight on f6. But if we look at the position now, bishop e7 with bishop e7, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this. Okay, let's think if Alan just simply castles. Right. This should be completely fine, but I'm wondering if there's anything better because it seems a little slow. He should not take knight takes c6. Probably should not take bishop c6. I'm wondering if you should take on c5. This actually probably is a critical move. Queen c5, something like knight b3 looks a little bit suspicious. So obviously I think bishop c5 would be played. And now I'm looking at some stuff like c4. Well, maybe c4. Maybe c4 is a bit of a stretch. Can take here. That's probably not great. Can take here. Can take on f6. But again, we've discussed why that's not great. Maybe just knight b3, right? Or maybe just castles. Something like this. Maybe. More and more I'm starting to not like this that much. Maybe he should just castle, to be honest. Trying to see some stuff. Eval Bar says this is a good move, but if I were Alan here, I would just castle. Benjamin would castle. Then maybe play something like knight takes knight. Maybe bishop takes knight and queen b3 after both sides castle. So let's see if any drastic changes have taken place. Okay, Alan takes bishop c6. Surprising me. Of course, b takes c6 is played. This is all some very, very logical stuff. And Alan goes queen b3. So, okay, this is the idea I was talking about before. But in this line, I'm not so sure. I think Benjamin should definitely think here. This seems to be a critical moment. I firmly believe Benjamin should not trade the queens, because if you trade queens and I take back with the a pawn, white is enjoying a nice endgame pressure. So you shouldn't trade queens. If you just castle and allow the queen trade, again, this structure is suspicious at best. However, queen c7, right? Just simple chess. Queen c7. Rook b8 is coming, targeting the queen. Queen slides out of the way. Benjamin has the two bishops advantage, so he should be trying to play. Dynamically, getting his piece to the best squares, potentially doing something with the c pawn, putting a rook on the open file. This is what I think is the best for Benjamin for sure, and he should be thinking here. He should, evaluate the queen trade as kind of a bad decision, and he should instead drop the queen back one square, which is a drastic improvement, and move that honestly needs to be played, because otherwise Alan gets a very nice position after the trade of queens. Again, maybe you can consider something like rook b8, but again, maybe white just castles, doesn't trade queens. Okay. Benjamin, I think he's made a mistake. I think he's made a slight inaccuracy. If we look, he's played the move h6. h6. Actually, maybe I'm being a bit too harsh. I think h6 is fine. Of course, the first thing to consider is this queen trade. But now the bishop is hanging. If you trade, probably take back with my bishop. Or actually take back with my pawn. And again, the central presence is nice for black. Something like c4 here. He's running down the queen side. He's got the open file. White doesn't have much here. Black has the two bishops. Should be better. And after the trade of queens, if you don't trade there and play something like bishop before, maybe Benjamin wants to expand with g5. Something like this. He can grab the bishop. Expand on the king side is a plan. He could also play c4 and go for queenside expansion. He could play h5, kind of forcing either h3 or h4. If h3, h4, bishop h2, he's expanding on this side of the board. Again, maybe c4, lock it all down, and black has some sort of bind. Or maybe he can just keep the c pawn where it is. So h6 is a very forcing move. I think Alan should just retreat, something like bishop f4, or perhaps bishop h4. Or maybe he should just trade queens. I think Alan's going to trade queens, but that endgame is a little bit unpleasant. It's just a tad bit unpleasant for Alan. He should be okay, but he's going to have the pressure put on him. Let's see if he's made a move. No, he is not. He's thinking. So, honestly, a very interesting game so far. Alan has gotten nothing, absolutely nothing out of the opening, playing a very solid but unassuming line. Benjamin should be really happy. He's definitely playing for a win here. He's got a lot of play. And I was critical of the move h6. I actually think it's quite a good move. Because originally I just, I was misjudging the whole queen trade. Thought it was kind of suspicious for black to allow. I thought queen c7 would be the best move. I still do, but h6. h6 is completely fine. Nothing wrong with h6, I think. So, okay. Alan, in for a deep think. One thing I've noticed about Alan through these tournaments, he loves to think at kind of random points. But this is an important decision for him. He's probably evaluating the endgame as unpleasant for him, but he's also probably evaluating that not going into an endgame is also unpleasant for him. I mean, black could play queen c7 next move, could play something like that. Or just keep the tension in castle, something like this. Black has pressure in the endgame. He has pressure on the open file, whether it be the b file or an a file as a result of the queen trade. And he's pressure on kingside. He can build up his kingside. h6, g5, knight h5, move the bishop f5. He's got more pawns in the center as well. And he's got the bishop pair advantage. He's got this slicing bishop on f5. Alan trades queens, okay? So, of course, Benjamin will take back. Nothing to be analyzed there. And now Alan... I'm not loving this for him. I'm not loving this. I think h6 was actually a very nice move by Benjamin. Now Alan has to make a decision with his bishop. He can either trade it off, but as we discussed, after g takes f, black gets the two bishops against the two knights. Pressure on open files on the king side and queen side, and a central and queen side pawn majority. I would hate to defend that position with white. So if I were Alan, I would not take. But if he doesn't take something like g5 or c4, rook a8, the pressure is building up. And for Alan, I would be very concerned. I'm very concerned about this. Maybe you want to trade off the knight on e5. It is kind of bad. Alan goes bishop f4. Okay. So, of course, now Benjamin has to kind of come up with a plan to try and put some pressure on Alan. Now, this endgame should be better for him. g5 is the first move that comes to mind. Seems like the most logical move. Then after bishop g3, I feel like this knight is the best piece for white. But I also feel like this bishop is kind of crucial. So what about knight h5? Ideas are f6, kicking away the knight, and I'm just starting to grab the bishop. Does seem quite appetizing. He could also play knight d7, trying to trade off knights. Because the move you want to play here is rook a8, but then that hangs a pawn. Maybe c4. So many good ideas. But I think g5 is the first move to play, starting to kind of expand. After g5, bishop g3, I think I would play knight h5. I'm targeting a bishop, and I'm contending to play f6. Once I play f6, I can play king f7. Line my rooks up. I can kind of expand on both sides and go for the squeeze. With the two bishops, I can play c4, bring my pawn to b4, bring my pawn to c5, go for the queen side play. I can go for a king side squeeze. I really like this position for black. Okay, so we've been discussing plans for black. What's the plan for white? What is white going to do here after something like g5, bishop g3, knight h5? Well, I don't know really what white wants to do. This knight currently seems a little bit out of the game, so I would like to kind of reroute it. But at the moment, nothing really seems great for this knight. Maybe take on c5. This move makes some sense. Of course, if bc, something like c4 maybe not c4, maybe then f6 and bishop d3. Ugh. Maybe just taking something like king e2. I don't really see any constructive ideas for white. Maybe he can play for e4 in this position, or he can play for e4 without trading on g4. Something like king e2. But then, there's stuff like if f6, you have to choose knight d3, c4, suspicious. But this, now you're not building really for anything. Black's building for e5. And it seems like white just has a really passive and annoying position. Maybe he wants to instigate over here, something like a4. Or maybe he wants to just play something solid like a3, b4. But in all of these lines where white is trying to do something, he gives up something. Playing a3 heavily weakens these light squares. Guess who has the light square bishop? It's black. Playing a4 heavily weakens this pawn. Bishop c2, rook a8, the pawn is going to be a target. So any kind of constructive ideas to do something in this position give black some sort of advantage. So that means the position is really only good for black. It means that black really can only be playing for an advantage. And I wonder what Alan is trying to plan here. But okay, been analyzing for a bit. I'm wondering if any new things have been happening. Oh, and we've got exactly what I've had. We've got G5, Bishop G3, Knight H5. I'm spectacular. Yeah, that looks fantastic. I mean, yeah, Benjamin, exactly what I thought. He's just expanding on the king side. Like it's honestly quite a good idea. It's quite a nice idea. He's gonna play f6. He's gonna drop his bishop back. He's gonna play king f7. Slowly, he's gonna expand on both sides and in the center. Alan is thinking here, but doesn't look great for him. Does not look great. I must admit. Okay. So, as Alan is thinking, this is very, very interesting game. Very, very interesting game. Yeah, and I was, kind of knowing Alan, kind of as a person, I was very surprised with his choice of opening. This seems like something that would just give little to no advantage.
Hey, wait. We just want to say that there was G5 was not played.
G5 was not played.
Yeah, it was Knight H5. There's no pawn on G5.
Okay, just Knight H5. And then Alan goes Bishop G3. Okay. Okay, but now he can go G5. I would suggest going G5, F6, maybe F6, and then G5. This looks nice. What has Benjamin played? Oh, he's played Bishop D6. He's gone Bishop D6 now. No, but I don't like this that much. I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to take and then take here. But I feel like he's taking a step in the wrong direction. Okay, so Alan drops his knight back to F3. A passive move.
I'm just saying, couldn't he have just gone Knight takes F7 instead of Knight F3?
Knight takes F7?
Yeah.
Yeah, Knight takes F7 does work. Thank you for that, Ryan. That was nice tactics. Yeah, of course, if you take on G3, I take on H8. Is the knight getting trapped in the corner? Maybe, but this was a chance for Alan. And of course, if you take on F7, I just take on D6. This is a chance for Alan. But what I am wondering is, after Bishop G3 and something like Bishop G back, what's the idea to get this knight out of here? Something like F3 maybe to go G4, but then something like Knight F6, G4, Bishop H6. No, this doesn't look great at all. Maybe just Knight F3 and Knight H4. Yeah, this is probably the idea. Something like this. Then the knights kind of team up. But still, it looks a little bit suspicious. But yeah, I think Alan, for a thinker, definitely didn't take his time long enough. I didn't see it. My mind was definitely not on tactical opportunities in such a, kind of seemingly dry position. But this looks quite good. Yeah, and if Alan had played Knight F7, sorry, not HG. Oh, maybe HG was the idea. Oh, maybe this is the idea. What's up with pawn? Yes, you don't even go into the complications where you take the rook, although you probably can. It's probably just working out fine after knight f3. I'm gonna come over here. The knights, again, as I said, kind of team up like this in a weird way. Alan would be better, would be pressing, but he misses it. Or to be fair, I did miss it too, but Alan should not be missing this. He didn't, from what I see, he didn't take too much time on it. But yeah, knight f7. But he went back knight f3, and now black again just has a positional advantage. Just a very solid positional advantage. So what should black do? I think if black can take HG and something like C4 or something like rook A8. An improving move, storming the B pawn to try and chip away at this structure. The two bishops are quite good. The two bishops, they are quite nice. This knight has no home. This knight has no home. Only black can be playing for an advantage here. My plan for this, let's just say white plays some random moves like king e2, king e7, kind of just slow improvement. White doesn't really have great places for these pieces. If he plays something like a3, okay, that's fine. But now b2 is a weakness. Something like rook a5 even. I might be coming to b5, or something like c4, march the b pawn, or maybe just b5. A lot of ideas here. Bishop c2 definitely should be on Benjamin's mind. Of course, a4, bishop c2 looks a little bit suspicious. And if white just does nothing like, I don't know, let's just say like rook e1, something like c4, b4, b5, b4, coming in very quickly. c5, f6, e5, f6, g5, h5. Black has such a nice position. So many, things to do. White, not so much. If I were white, I'd probably want to get a new home for this knight. Something like knight h4. No, definitely not. Something like knight h2 maybe, but going back all the way here, something like king e2, king e7, knight h2. Something like this. Maybe white tries to expand over here, but g5, g4, bishop g6. No need to sweat it. Again, black closes down counterplay and enjoys just a better position where he's pressuring on the queen side. He can bring the rooks, use the bishops. These bishops are snipers at this queen side. The pawn, all of the pieces coming into the game. Okay, so let's see what happened. I believe it is Alan's move. What was played? Bishop e7. So none of this happens. Instead, we get bishop e7 all the way back here. Now, bishop e7 probably is okay, but why would you go to d6 back to e7? Like, if you wanted to do this, you could have had this position right now. But instead, you have this position with the knight back on f3. Is that an advantage, though? Does black think that's an advantage? Probably not. This knight is a bit of a target here and propels a black kingside advancement. If we go to the position it was, not after f6, but after bishop d6 and bishop e7, this knight is no longer in a great position. It is in a better position. No longer in kind of a position susceptible to danger. So we have a comment from Andrew asking who is winning. I would say probably Benjamin is better right now. Even though he's kind of danced with his bishop, Alan had the chance with that tactic. Knight f7. He didn't play it though. And Benjamin is better. He's got the bishop pair. Kingside and queenside pressure. Is he winning? Probably not. Alan, with perfect play, probably should hold. But definitely not a very nice position to play for Alan. All right. Did anything happen? No, nothing has happened. Alan, true to his nature, he's a thinker. He likes to think about all of the moves. Now, if Alan wants, okay, Alan has played. He's got an a4. A4. I don't like a4. I was going to say if Alan wants, and I'll pull up an analysis board for this, he can repeat the position. But again, this would give a chance to expand for Benjamin. But okay. We have bishop e7 and a4. Now the most logical move here is rook a8, getting behind the pawn. But that move, maybe a5, maybe something like b3. Okay, so of course Alan wants to play a5, break open the structure a bit. And we have a comment from Andrew saying, I thought Alan was Magnus's son. Alan is Magnus's son. His long-lost father is Magnus Carlsen. For anyone who didn't know, Alan is a distant relative of Magnus. One move that kind of is interesting here is this move bishop d8. Kind of trying to control a5. But again, probably not great. Okay, I would think it's time to take the bishop. This is probably important. And now, maybe now rook a8. Yeah. So now with a5, of course we have kind of a pin going on here. Maybe you can just take and march this pawn. Actually, maybe that's just completely fine. So yeah, so taking in rook a8, it's got to be the best idea, right? So okay, because rook a8 originally bishop c7 is a move. b5 a5, pawn is running. So it is time for Benjamin to get rid of that bishop. If he does not get rid of that bishop, allows Alan to play a5, bishop c7, could have a bit of a problem here. Of course, now, if he plays something like rook a8, bishop c7 will happen. But if he plays a neutral move like castles and a5, maybe you can just take. Maybe this is not scary at all. Because what you get, maybe c4, or c takes d, but c takes d, knight takes d, maybe. But okay, I move the bishop and I play in the center, right? This shouldn't be a problem. Yes, maybe this just isn't scary. Maybe Alan's idea isn't scary. But definitely taking and playing rook a8 seems like the most natural response to me. Kind of disallowing some a4 ideas. Okay, so let's see if any moves have been made. Rook a8. Ooh, I think Alan has a chance now. Yeah, rook a8. Slight error. Just not a huge error, but a slight error. Now bishop c7. Attacking b6. You can play bishop d8 maybe. But then after the trade, king takes d8. I take on c5 and run my a pawn. Rook takes d8 again. I take on c5. And the a-pawn suddenly, from a weakness, becomes a strength. So after bishop c7, you can't play bishop d8. Rook a6 is a move. But this is really passive. Something like a5 maybe. Or something like takes here. Takes an a5. Or maybe just knight b3, right? And come to d4. So I think maybe Benjamin has just messed up a bit. Maybe a bit. Again, b5 is met with a5. So after bishop c7, we have a comment from Andrew. Bishop c2 idea. When bishop c2? After bishop c7? Let's burn up into the board. We have what? This position. White goes bishop c7. Bishop c2 is always an idea. There's b3, and in this case, you just lose a pawn here. So I don't think bishop c2 is an idea here. Andrew, when were you thinking of bishop c2? Okay. Alan, I believe, has played bishop c7. Very, very good by Alan. That's definitely the strongest move here. Definitely the strongest move. You know, putting some serious pressure on this b6 pawn. Benjamin could go wrong here. Bishop d8 is a bad move. Letting Alan take here shouldn't be allowed. You know, I'm starting to think that Alan's position is just completely fine. I'm wondering here if there's anything that I'm missing. I don't think so. Maybe you can take, but then, and then if knight d4, bishop c2, oh, bishop d2 hangs a piece. It's be terrible. No, this doesn't look good at all. Actually, maybe just rook a6 is necessary. It looks so passive. Sure, there's nothing to be done. Bishop c2, something like b3 should be good. Maybe just rook a6 has to be played here. Otherwise, don't really see much. Something like this, bishop is not getting trapped. So yeah, this is quite a tough position. And I believe we are getting a few moves from the players. We have rook a6, a5, b5. Okay. So if we pull up the analysis board, rook a6 has been played, defending the pawn, a5, and b5. This, I believe, is not accurate. After a5, I think you should have taken. But after b5, this is a dangerous pawn. I mean, the value of this pawn should not be underestimated. Maybe something like bishop b6, attacking a pawn on c5, and once you take, I take with my knight, attacking your bishop, and the pawn here, and then threatening something like this, where the a-pawn is pushing. This does not look good. This a-pawn is a killer. Looks like Alan is working some magic here. Yeah, this kind of bind doesn't look good. Bishop b6, rook is in a bind. c4, again, maybe knight e5, threatening g4. Yeah, Andrew says rook a4 looks good. Rook a4, I mean, rook a6 probably was the best move, but after a5, certainly not b5. You have to take this. After b5, your rook is in a little net. This is not looking good. Suddenly, white has the positional advantage. He has a great bishop here. Good knight potential. Now attacking this weakened c6 pawn from either d4 or e5. Now I'm starting to think white's position looks quite nice. All right, so let's see what has happened so far. We did get bishop b6. Alan, super good play from him, and c4. Now I think knight e5 should be the first move on Alan's watch. And, you know, there's a bit of calculation involved, but knight e5, what does Alan play? He goes knight e5, yes. This is kind of a, I don't want to say obvious move, but not the hardest move in the world to find. And Benjamin is in trouble. Some g4 things are threatened. Knight c6 things are threatened. And again, you can't try and defend all your stuff with bishop d8 here. If we just pull this up. After bishop d8, of course, there's just a simple fork. So this position looks really bad for Benjamin. He's kind of, this whole bishop dance thing, you know, maybe wasn't smart. And Alan's idea of a4, like, kind of was forcing Benjamin to react. Like, he had to go for the critical mind. He has to take the bishop and then play something like rook a8. But when he allows this bishop c7 kind of thing, if we look at the position now, it's just not fun to play. Not fun to play for Benjamin. So he's gone from a position where he was better and pressing for an advantage to now a position where he's probably going to lose a pawn. And his opponent has this bind on his rook and a strong a pawn. Things are not looking great for Benjamin. But, you know, there's still a game to be played. Still chances. But Alan just has a nagging advantage. That should be quite good. All right. So with a little bit of analysis done, and Alan playing knight e5, it's a matter of time before we see what Benjamin plays. But right now he's in a very hard spot. He can't play bishop d8. He's losing a pawn on c6. G4 is a potential idea to try and fork some pieces. So Benjamin here, he has to try and come up with the best way to lose a pawn. He has to, know that, okay, I'm losing a pawn, but got to make it the best that I possibly can. Because otherwise he's going to get smoked. Like, Benjamin here is on the verge of losing a pawn and then potentially the game. So what is the best reply for him? Let's take a look. So, okay. If we start by just looking at the worst case scenario, this pawn is taken. Something like bishop, I was going to say bishop d6, but maybe g4 then. So, okay, let's say like knight f6. Knight here and bishop d6. Or maybe just king d7, right? Or maybe bishop d6, g4 is not that big of a threat. Although, yeah, g4 takes bishop d6. Doesn't look terrible. It's kind of hard to get the knight into the game for white. So yeah, bishop d6. Takes here. King d7. But it does look suspicious. Does look suspicious. We have a comment from YouTube. Alan is in the quads. Alan is currently rated 1341, meaning that he is not yet eligible to play in the Open. And at this current time, the Open is not happening. And actually, it's just come to my attention. Here's their knight a7. A really annoying move. Probably not, right? Bishop c7. No, not bishop c7. But for some reason, this just isn't good, probably. Rook a8, and then rook b6. This is the idea. So maybe just going for giving up a pawn, playing king d7. Honestly, I'm maybe just no castles. There's g4. Ooh, maybe bishop h7. No, but I mean, all of this just looks disgusting. f6 looks terrible. Maybe c5. But again, no. Take with a pawn, and a knight is coming to d4. This is bad. We have another comment. Alan is in quad 2, and he's currently 0.5 out of 2. He drew his first game against Jaden Lee, I think, and he lost against Andrew Goldfarb in the second game. And now he's trying to get back to it in this third game. So as we analyze, let's see if any moves have been made. We have, seems like we have some moves. We have the move f6. Yeah, f6, kind of an ugly move. Alan takes on c6 and king d7. Okay, so let's analyze this. King d7. Okay, so this should be bad. As we can see, the eval bar evaluates this position as +3. Wow. +3, says the eval bar. So the knight is under attack. You probably want to move that. I don't see anything else, really. You can take the bishop. King takes. This is probably the idea, right? And then something like f3. Oh, yes. Oh, this is it. This is it. And g4 is an unstoppable threat. Bishop can move out of, as you can see, the knight has no safe moves. Bishop can move out of the fork. But g4, anyway, the knight is trapped. And that is the tactical resolution to the game that Alan should see. Yeah, that's super nice. You get rid of the knight. And f3. Simple. Playing for g4. There's no way to stop it. And if this happens, Benjamin will probably just resign. I want to say Alan will find this. He has taken on e7. He's halfway there. Now he just has to play f3. Just has to play f3, go for g4, and he's got the win. Pretty much guaranteed. There's no way to save a piece. And I don't really see what other moves Alan could be thinking about. Oh, he plays at f3. Cynical. You can see on Benjamin's face that look of surprise. Like, he just knows that he's messed it up. Yeah. You can see it in Benjamin. He just hands around his face. Yeah, there's nothing here for black. He can go home. There's no way to stop g4. Which would just be a complete trap of the knight. All right, so this means that Alan, unless he completely messes something up, will get the win. Kind of a deserved win. I mean, Alan definitely outplayed Benjamin, but from a worse position, and Benjamin should have kind of expanded on the king side and taken the bishop. A few moments, where he had a chance to, kind of extend his positional advantage, and he just missed it. But, that's part of chess. Sometimes it's, sometimes it's hard to find stuff. Alan, takes a sip of the water. As someone who plays tournaments myself, that is a clear sign of when you know you're winning. He gets up from the board, another clear sign of when you know you're winning. So Alan knows he's winning. I think Benjamin knows Alan is winning too. Yeah, tough luck for Benjamin. He was playing a good opening. Very, very, good opening. He had great chances for an advantage and potentially a win. But no, he sadly messed it up. And yes, Alan is cooking. Let Alan cook. He is well on his way to winning. Bishop d3 played, but it's not going to be enough. Just g4. Knight is trapped. Resignation is forced. Alan should not even think about it. Alan is, as they say, cooking g4. And just to bring up the analysis board one more time, here, as the piece is lost, the knight has no squares. Can't go to g7, can't go to f6, can go to g3, can go to f4, but pawns will be capturing it. There is just no way to save the knight, and therefore no way to save the game. And Alan is cooking. Alan will win the game. Now, it might be a bit premature to say that Alan will win, but I mean, this is good. And, it's good to see Alan kind of find this nice shot to end the game. He knew he was better. He should be better. But it's good that he found this nice kind of shot to end the game. A tricky move has been played of rook hb8. This is a very tricky move. If you take the knight, I take the bishop. But king f2, again, a fantastic move by Alan. Yeah, we have a comment. Amazing find by Alan, yes. Completely making up for when he missed knight f7, the tactic, which, in retrospect, I, needed some help from Ryan to see. But that's okay. So if we look back at the board, Alan plays king f2. Why couldn't he just take the knight? For any viewers, of course, if he takes the knight, it's still better, but his bishop hangs. And if you take, then I can take here. And actually, this is still kind of a tricky line, because it's like, oh, white's up so much material, but suddenly b7. And you have to take here and take here. This would be winning for Alan, but rook b2. Not super convincing. But, okay, Alan finds the critical line, which is, of course, just to play king f2. And yeah, so, okay, let's see if any more developments have taken place. Do not believe so. So there's not much to analyze. I'm wondering if Benjamin's going to resign or if he's going to keep playing down a piece. Probably he'll resign. He could probably keep playing, just kind of for the stream. But it might be the stream that got to him. It is difficult playing with kind of a live crowd. He keeps playing. He plays bishop g6. Alan takes with a free knight. Just analyze this quickly. Takes. How's Alan going to win this? He's up a piece for a pawn, and he should be winning. But it's important for him kind of to not get overly complacent and do anything kind of stupid. So targeting weak pawns, something like rook g1, is an idea that makes a ton of sense. Maybe also e4, building for the center. This looks quite nice. But Alan can really do anything. I mean, there's so much he can do. He can play something like b4 even. If you take, my knight's coming to c5, you're done. Something like b4, just locking down the queen side, and then he can play on the king side. And if Alan ever gets a knight to c5, kicking away the rook and pushing his a-pawn, it would be quite nice for him. So something like e4, for that reason, kind of appeals to me. Of course, if takes, you can take with the pawn, but taking with the knight looks so good. e4, probably the most clinical way to finish it, but a lot of ways to win if you're Alan right here. Let's see if he's played anything. He's played rook hg1, which is, of course, a logical move. Not anything wrong with that. Attacking a pawn. Benjamin will probably play g5 here. And then e4. And then, Alan's just got to go for it. He's got to break at the center. He can play b4, but he should go for e4. Then he should probably put a rook on e1, kind of try and bulldoze down the center. That pawn on a5, never leaving. It's going to keep distracting the rooks. And it's kind of more than just a piece for a pawn here. Alan just has a complete bind over the position. It does help that he's up a piece, but I have faith in Alan. I think he can win this. G6 played. G6, okay, there's not much critiquing to be done, but I thought G5 was just much better. Now, okay, E5, E4 looks just like a completely obvious move, but it's not easy to win these sorts of positions, and I know from experience. Now a move that kind of is interesting, knight B1. Who's defending this pawn? Probably the king, right? Probably the king. But then I go e4.
Wait, if he plays knight b1 though, can't you take the rook on b6?
The bishop on b6?
Yeah. I mean the bishop man.
Yeah, but after takes and you take on a1, b7, how are you stopping the pawn? Probably not stopping the pawn. There's no rook a8. There's no way to get the rook on the b file. But yeah, that's okay. Of course, rook b6 is a tactic that should be, of course, looked out for. But in this case, that's completely fine for white because, of course, the pawn is just queening. But after something like king d7, if you get complacent and play like e4, now rook b6 does work. So yeah, a small bit of calculation is necessary. Okay, let's see what Alan has done. I believe, okay, Alan has played b3. Okay, his idea is, of course, if you take, then of course, the knight comes to c5. But f5 played. Now, okay, e4 is just something like take here. E4, something like this just kind of screams out. Okay, Alan does trade pawns. Should be fine for him. I believe, Benjamin should probably take back with the c pawn. Maybe Alan wants to initiate some trades on the b file. Maybe that's his idea to try and win this. Let's see. Yeah, he does take back with the b pawn. So I guess the whole point of this for Alan was maybe he wants to initiate something on the b file. Rook gb1 could be a move to consider. But e4 just kind of jumps out at me, trying to just pressure everything. Maybe bishop c5 check. A lot of moves here, tons of moves here. Again, knight b1. Actually, now this is. I guess this would not work. Rook a2, rook b2. Yeah. Okay, Alan does have to be a bit careful here. Okay. He goes rook b1 and we get rook a8. Okay. But now Alan completely controls the open file. Bishop c5 check kind of jumps out to me. e4 kind of jumps out to me. Both of those moves look good. Rook b5. Coming over here. Oh, rook b5 is a nasty, like, that move is just, kind of really annoying to face. Now e4 would be coming. Another problem for black, his bishop is completely out of the game. So, yeah, rook b5 looks like a cool move. For sure. Alan, he plays e4. Strong move by Alan. And I like how Alan is starting to play quicker now. He knows he's winning, so he knows he should pick up the speed. And I guess we'll get to see some kind of nice conversion by Alan here. So far, so good. Everything's looking fine. Right. Benjamin takes FE. Alan takes FE. This trade. Okay, now he goes rook f8 check. Okay, gives a check, but this could be a bad place to have a rook. Why could this be a bad place to have a rook? Exactly because this bishop is coming around here. So after something like king e3, centralizing the king, this is a terrible place to have your rook. And this is also a bad place to have your rook. The rook's not very happy right here. If you try and keep the rook on the f file, I can go for a check. Obviously here, I initiated trade of rooks. This looks really quite bad. Even, yeah, and there's really no way to keep the rook on the f file. And once you go back, Alan can play something like rook b5, pressuring the pawn. That should be completely fine. So yeah, Alan just needs to go king e3. I'm not exactly sure. No, he's still thinking. But okay, king e3 is the most logical move. Of course, you don't want to put your king away from the center. You want to keep your king towards the center. Which makes king e3 seem like, just a very good move to play. He plays king e3. Very strong. Alan is converting this really well. Ever since he kind of, gave Benjamin a positional advantage at the beginning of the game, Alan's been playing some good chess. He's been finding the best moves, converting with accuracy. Definitely pleasantly impressed by Alan. This has been fantastic. Looks like Benjamin's about to make a move. I mean, there's not really much to be said here. The winning way for Alan, if Benjamin just moves his rook back, is probably something like rook b5. Then the other rook can potentially come to f1. Actually, yeah, rook b5, rook f1, all these moves. Bishop is out of the game. Pieces are swarming in. It's just a matter of time. Currently, Benjamin does have 1 point, as we see here. Alan has only half a point. But it does look like Alan is going to win this game, which would mean 1.5 points for him. King c6 played. Hold on. I believe something... Sorry, King d7 played. Why did I say King c6? And Alan goes rook f1. Okay. Back to analysis. Alan has just played rook f1. I don't think this is the most critical move to play. I think rook b5 is the most critical move. Again, targeting this. Or bishop c5. Combined with the infiltration of the rook. But I guess Alan just wants to trade. Can't blame him. Still completely winning. Benjamin takes. Alan takes. Now the infiltration of the rook, combined with the passivity of the black rook, should be completely enough to win this game. Also, he's just up a piece. Like, at the end of the day, Alan is just up a piece, which means that logically he should win the game. As long as he doesn't do anything silly. Okay. Go back to the players now. See their faces. Benjamin looking kind of sad. It sucks. I mean, he had an advantage, but, slightly misplayed it. Alan, can't really see his face, but he for sure must be happy. His first live stream game going pretty well for him. And the king goes back to e7 for Benjamin. All right. Now, of course, Alan will be wanting to infiltrate. Alan is plays e5. What? Probably still completely winning, but now he's got to... Okay, he wants rook f6. I guess this is what he wants. But where does he want to put his knight? He wants to probably go like this with his knight. Team up with the pawn. Oh, this is... Yeah, this is good. This is good stuff by Alan. It's good stuff. Good stuff by Alan. But at the same time, like, kind of everything is winning. This is good, but at the same time, like, he can bring his rook. So many ideas here. Probably it's important to start by bringing the knight in to these glorious squares. b5 is the perfect place for a knight. b4 is also a great place for a knight. Something like this. Coming to c6. I'm not enjoying this position for Benjamin. Sadly for him. All right, so I believe some stuff has taken place. Okay, somehow we have the same position, but a rook on a1? He wants to push the a pawn. So I think I might have missed something, but okay. I think what happened was king d7, rook a1, king e7. This is the position currently on the board. And now knight b1. He's either coming to b4 or b5 with the knight. Yeah, Alan is doing well. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. G5 played. Knight A3. Alan plays very quickly. And Benjamin plays bishop all the way back. So this is good. Vivon Kohli, who is winning? Currently in this position, it seems that Alan is winning. Knight A3 was played, bishop went all the way back. Wondering if I can just quickly see what was played. Rook F1. Okay, Alan is, at least for me, Alan is kind of doing a lot of kind of different plans all over the board. But I think this is completely fine. I personally probably would have put a knight on b5. But he just wants to go to f6 and start kind of harassing the position, kind of harassing these pawns, harassing the 7th rank. Knight c2 on the cards. I think here I would recommend bishop a4, but again, there's not much to be done. At least here. Just to see if anything has h5, rook f6 was played. Okay. And just for side-by-side view, we have the game and commentary. G4 by Benjamin. Rook h6 played. Currently not attacking anything, is Alan. But probably wants to go rook h7. Check. That's probably Alan's idea here. King c... No, not king c6. King has been touched, so the king must be played. Of course, because of the touch move rule, Benjamin will have to move his bishop. Sorry, not his bishop, his king. I think he's realized after king d7, which is the move he wanted to play, put it on the analysis board, knight to b5 is possible. The knight is jumping in, the rook is coming in. Ugh, it is a mess. This position is an absolute mess. So we do see king d7. Alan does not care about knight b5. Alan just goes for a check. Also probably completely winning. King c6 will lead to a checkmate. So that is why king c8 is played. Now there are probably quite a few ways to win. Rook c7 looks good. Rook e7 looks good. Actually, you know what I would do? I would give a check, rook c7. If king d8, of course, we win the rook with a discovery. And after king b8, now I would play rook e7. Simple fork, winning a piece. Or winning a pawn, at least. And the reason it doesn't work right here is because there's bishop d7, which would also be fine. Alan would be fine with that. He would still be winning. He goes rook e7. Okay, he doesn't give a check first. Allows bishop d7. But hey, I mean, it should be fine. I guess after bishop d7, what does he want to do? Does he want to take it? No, definitely not. Don't do that. Don't throw away the game like that. He probably wants to just go knight c2. And after knight c2, knight b4. Yes, bad. And bishop d7 is played. Now knight c2, I'm expecting. Nope, he just goes king f4. He's just walking the king to grab the pawns. Yeah, this is over. Nice win for Alan. Just waiting for a move from Benjamin. But even if we see one, Alan has converted almost perfectly. And he will be picking up those pawns over on the king side. Should be winning for him. But we'll see. We'll see. Still anything could happen, but not really, because Alan is completely winning here. And you can see Benjamin just knows, like, it's unfortunate. It's always hard to see people lose. You know, I don't think he's going to resign right now. I think he's still going to play. But it's over. Rook a8 played. Now king g5. Alan can just go back to his plan. King g5 here should be good enough. Black is just completely paralyzed. He has literally nothing. Like, this rook is so bad. His bishop has to guard this pawn. The king is restricted. Alan goes king g5. It's over. Like, I wouldn't be totally surprised if Benjamin resigns, but I think he'll keep playing, just to keep playing. Maybe he'll even play till mate, but it's over. And Alan will be getting a win. Yeah, I guess people at lower levels might play to now, and I know I have one friend, pretty strong player, David. He, for one, plays all the way until mate. But But yeah. I mean, and of course it's not dead lost, but okay. And no, not David Milstein. Okay, the game. All right. I believe we've missed a few moves. Rook a6 was played. Allen, the rook was just shuffled back and forth. h4 was played. The rook goes back to a8. h5 is played. It's just a bind. There's nothing to be done. Rook a6. Maybe he's going to play till mate. h6. It is pretty much game over here. No way to stop the pawn. No way to stop getting mated. It is pretty much game. As you can see, the eval bar is all white. Mate in 7. Rook a8. One last try at shuffling. h7. It is resignable, but yeah, exactly. Black literally can't do anything. He can't do a single thing. Not like he literally can't even try and defend. His king can't move, his bishop can't move, his rook can move back and forth, but it's not doing anything. There's really no productive ideas here, and the pawn just runs. Maybe he could have tried bringing the rook to b7, but even then, not much to be done. Rook takes a5 is played. But this is desperation. Allen could do whatever. He's probably just going to make a queen with check. Yeah, queen is made with check. The king jumps out. Yeah, and then the last game of the tournament, Alan Salnikov will win. He takes on d7. King c6 played. Now it's just a simple ladder mate. Queen c6. King only move is to take the bishop. And queen b7 is mate in 1. Rook b7 is mate in 2. And I believe we have a resignation. With mate coming. No way to stop the mate. They're talking, but okay, queen c7 played. I did forget to press the clock. That is game. Set match.
Are y'all still here?
Yeah, we're here. Congratulations, Alan.
Thank you, Thomas. Let me turn the camera back to myself. Whew.
That was a nice game. I thought you were a bit worse there, but bishop c7 was a good find. If you want, we can analyze it now.
I'll analyze your analysis tomorrow. I'm too tired to do analyzing right now, but we can do like a brief conversation about it. I'm here. Ben's still here, so we can still like do a brief chat about it.
Yeah.
You want?
Sure. I mean, I guess if I just kind of run through some of the critical moments.
First, Ben has to go, so thank you, Ben, for coming. Thank you for playing.
Thank you for playing, Ben. It's a very interesting game.
Yeah.
All right. So if we go all the way back, Alan, do you normally play this opening?
Yeah.
Okay. Because out of the opening, I thought you really didn't have much. Okay. So c3 line, bishop g5, bishop f4. Do you normally play knight f3 here?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering, why not take, like, if you're not going to take, why'd you put the bishop out there?
So
knight f3, e6.
So Thomas, the way I like to play this opening, if bishop f5 is played, which Ben played in the game, then I'd like to take the knight because I'd rather keep the pair. Only time I take is instead if you were to play something like fianchetto wing, g7, bishop g7, by the time I play the knight's out, and then the second he pushes the pawn to attack, I'm going to take, go e4, and I'm going to get the knight in the center. He's held a bishop pair, but I like that position. Here I don't want to take because there's really no point in taking. I can just leave it there for now, and then I can always take it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, this pawn structure should be completely fine, so I agree. But I thought black should be okay here. So e6, e3, c5. Sorry, not bishop d3. You played bishop b5, right?
Yeah.
Knight c6 and queen a4. Okay, he played this move, rook c8. Here, of course, I don't think you can. You could actually. I think you could take on a7. Did you consider this?
Was rook c? Was that played? What move? Let's see.
Yeah,
Queen
I think rook c8.
No, rook c8 was played, Thomas, before queen a4. So bishop b5.
Oh, okay.
Knight
So
c6.
knight d2.
First, I played knight e5. I played knight e5 before moving the queen out.
Okay, knight e5. All right.
c8, and then I played queen a4.
And then queen b6. Okay, yeah. So okay, yeah. It's just a position, probably equal. Knight d2. He did not play a6. He played bishop a7. Well, if after a6 takes, did you like this position or?
Thought it was fine because queen b3, and from there it's just if he takes, I'm fine. If he doesn't take, then he might go something like rook b8. But truthfully, I think I'm fine here.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think it should be fine. I think black does have the bishop pair.
Yeah.
He does control the only open file. He can put a knight on e5, e4. I think black maybe is slightly better, but not much.
Yeah.
But the way things happen in the game, you just went bishop e7. You castle.
I didn't castle the game.
You did not castle.
I didn't. We traded. I took the knight. Bishop takes e6. B takes e6.
And queen b3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, yeah. Okay. So, here I was considering queen c7, but Benjamin played h6, which I think is a strong move. What were your thoughts on this?
Yeah, here I had to think a little bit because I was coming off a loss, so I was thinking too much of positional elements, whether on the bishop on f4 or one on h4. Truthfully, I didn't know what to do on h4, what sort of future would to have. A bishop f4, he does have some slight counterplay with playing something like bishop d6. I also knew that I wanted the queens off the board because I wanted to have a position where I had some sort of counterplay with my a pawn. I had a strong rook there. I know he has the center, but I thought that would pull me through, so that's why I did the queen trade. And then bishop f4, just naturally better score in my opinion.
Yeah, so here I thought g5 and knight h5 looks good with ideas of f6 taking and then playing on both kind of the queen side and king side. But I think Benjamin made a mistake with knight h5. I'm wondering g4.
I was thinking about that a lot. I was thinking, how long did it take me to make the move? I have the timestamps on my book. So after knight h5, it took me. Oh, it only took me 1 minute. I'm surprised. Yeah, so I looked at it briefly. G4 was definitely something I was looking at. But after he will take my bishop, and whatever I take, yeah, I can take that. And he runs away.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, where do you think you would go? G2.
Probably h6.
Okay, probably h5. Yeah, this looks fine for him. But
Yeah, not a fan of my pawn structure.
What I was worried about after bishop g3, I was worried about this move f6, and then something like just g5 here. And I thought, I don't know about your thoughts, but I thought combination of rook a5, expanding on the king side, expanding on the queen side, with these pawns, expanding in the center. I just thought it looked like a annoying position to play. For you, kind of a more fun one for him.
Yeah, but truthfully, I don't really see a plan where he would expand on the queen side because second he does that, if I were to push a4 right away, if he tries to expand on the queen side, I have a5, and that's exactly what happened in the game where I was able to get a passed pawn. So it's difficult for me to see how he can do an expansion on the queen side. King
So
side,
you would
king
play.
side, king side's a complete different story though. It's more fun for him in the king side, more fun for him in the center, and it does look like an intimidating position. I agree with you on that.
So you would play a4 here, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, this is kind of similar to what happened in the game after he played bishop d6. And then, okay, one quick thing. Did you see knight f7 here?
Knight f7, and then if bishop were to take on g3, and then
So,
only take the.
yeah,
Mhm.
there are two ways to play this. You can just take attacking the knight,
Mhm.
or you can even grab the rook and then play something like this with knight h4. And that's kind of how you come back.
Yeah, it's clever, Thomas. I didn't see that, to be honest.
But yeah, that was. I didn't see it either. I had Ryan kind of helped me.
Yeah. Also, just for fun, are there any comments in the chat right now? Any new comments? Because I can't see if there's anything.
There's one new comment. Who's winning? Alan won the game.
Yeah, I won the game, but I'm not sure who won between Jaden and Goldfarb. Regardless of what happens, I can't win the quad. But yeah, I'm glad to get 1.5 points, which is 1.5 points more than last time.
Yeah, all right. So just quickly, he played bishop e7, a4. I thought a4 was interesting, and I thought rook a8 was a serious mistake. I thought he should take and then go rook a8.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when he allows this bishop c7 nonsense, rook a6, a5, b5 also not a good move. He should just take here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Allowing my bishop to marry my pawn, that's just
Yeah,
a good
this is
combo. And combine that with the fact that he still has a knight on the edge of the board, which he wanted to take my bishop, but he didn't exactly take my bishop, just created a weakness. And that's what really defined this game just.
yeah.
Good play from Ben, but just a few weaknesses that he didn't take
Yeah.
care of.
And he had an advantage, but he played this bishop d6, bishop e7 stuff. And now suddenly this is much better for you. And from here on out, I thought you played extremely well. He played c4, right? Knight e5. All this was really good. Bishop. What did he play here?
Let's see, 95. What move are we on? What number? Oh, here we f6, f6, f6.
Yeah, f6 is probably a mistake, and king d7 is just a blunder. And yeah, you found the perfect response. Slide with f3. There's nothing to do. And yeah, from here on out, we can kind of just skim through the moves. But after f3, bishop d3, g4, not much to analyze. You're up a piece. He tried some stuff, some tricky stuff, but king f2, again, very accurate. Yeah, and you just outplayed him the whole game. I think it was b3,
Yeah,
f5, takes. All this was really good.
Then I played rook gb1.
Rook gb1, yeah. He played
Rook
king.
rook 8 a8. Rook 8.
Yeah.
Rook 8.
Rook a8.
And then another opening. e4, yeah.
Yeah, he took here. Went king d7. Here I thought maybe you could have played rook b5, trying to come over here, but okay, rook f1 should be completely fine. Takes. And yeah, this is just not good. And I thought e5 was interesting. I didn't exactly know how to do it. I thought maybe again putting the rook on b5, but e5 seems fine. He played what?
After rook a8.
Yeah, okay, rook a8, rook f6, rook a6. Yeah, and now
Thomas, I played after rook a8. I played the move rook a1.
Oh, you played rook a1.
And then he played rook a6.
And then yeah, knight b1, g5, knight a3, and now rook f1.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah, this. This is all good.
Yeah. Then here I can just pick off the queenside pawns, which is what happened because his rook is stuck, his bishop is stuck.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
And from here, I don't think there's much point in continuing the analysis because it's just me
No,
picking
yeah.
up the pawns. And
Winning.
yeah, credit to him for not resigning, playing the whole game because until the game's over, it's not over. And knowing how I play under time pressure, does the right call.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, good game. Good game. You know, after bishop c7, you just played very accurately and kind of just outplayed him, won a piece, and great finish as well. So yeah, that was a good way to start the first ICA game live stream.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you so much, Thomas. Tomorrow, I'm going to go and analyze your analysis. Hopefully, my internet doesn't crash on me like it did a month ago when I tried this experiment again. But I have a good feeling. And yeah, see you guys tomorrow.
All right, thank you, Alan. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to tune in tomorrow to see Alan analyzing my analysis. Thank you all for watching. Good night.